Alright, guys, we got something a little bit different today. Today, we are doing our very first build guide. If you guys like this kind of content and want to see more of it, please drop me a like and subscribe. And if I get overwhelming support on this, I'll start doing more of these. But without further ado, we're going to get into it. So yeah, today we have a Shadow Pyromancer build. Now, I got inspiration for this build after seeing some really unique multi-classes with primarily using Eldritch Blast and Darkness. And it got me thinking, what if we combined a heat build with that same concept? So, before we demonstrate how this all works, we're going to go over gear. And the way that I have this set up currently, I have 21 AC, right? So our classes, we went level 10 with Draconic Bloodline, and we also went level 2 with Warlock. So, level 10 Sorcerer will give you all the spells that you see here, except for this one and Eldritch Blast, of course. But it also, we went Draconic Bloodline, right, to get that fire resistance and the fire damage boost. Yep, Draconic Ancestry, Red Fire. Spells at level 6, spells that deal fire damage are more powerful and you become resistant to fire damage. Right, Draconic Resilience as well, which automatically makes our AC 13 plus our Dexterity modifier. Elemental Affinity Damage, when you cast a spell that deals damage of the type associated with your Draconic Ancestry, you add your Charisma modifier to the damage. It's going to be huge. Human version, yeah, all the other stuff. Mortal Reminder, we did go with a Great Old One for our Warlock subclass. Yeah. Alright, so I didn't want to do like a necessarily a step-by-step leveling guide for this. But if you go level 10 Sorcerer first, and then just do your last two levels Warlock, that would be good. But if you're starting this from the ground up, maybe go level 1 Sorcerer, 2 into Warlock, and then just power level Sorcerer after that. That's probably what I would recommend, like if you're just starting out a game. And I'm doing something pretty similar in my honor mode playthrough currently. Um, but yeah. So, when this build is really going to come online for you, what's in their turn-based mode here, is when you can cast this spell here. Devil's Sight. I mean, not Devil's Sight, Darkness. Now, with this Darkness spell active, these enemies cannot see me, and really can barely even hit me, if they can hit me at all. With the fact that we have 21 AC, we're pretty tanky. Not super tanky, but we're pretty tanky. That's a pretty good AC. We're getting that from our evasive shoes. This shield, you don't have to necessarily use this particular shield. There are plenty of shields that'll give you +3 to your AC, or you could just use other shields that have +2 but good bonuses. I feel like this is one that's going to be the best for you. Yeah. Obviously, we want to use Marco Gear for this build. It's the best staff in the game. Um, if you don't have Marco Gear, it's not make or break. Or if you're using it on another build, you could still make this build work. Really, the only thing you're getting is the +1 to your attack rolls. You get the arcane battery, but really, what we like to see here is Koreshki's Favor, and then we get Flames of Wrath. So, Embrace Koreshki's Flame to gain resistance to fire damage. We already have that. In addition, your fire spells deal additional fire damage equal to your proficiency bonus. That's going to be the huge part for us. That's the part that we really need. We also get a free fireball. It's nice to have. Now, the gear that I'm going with, I'm going to Spellmite gloves, but to mitigate that -5 to our attack rolls, we ended up going with the Robe of the Weave for the +1 bonus and the +2 to armor class. Cloak of the Weave as well for the +1 bonus to spell save DC and attack rolls. Same thing here. Hood of the Weave +2. That's pretty huge. I debated for a while of whether or not I should use Birthright instead, but I ended up going with the Hood of the Weave because when you have the Spell Might active, it's pretty easy to miss, especially when you're shooting so many Scorching Rays. And I feel like even one of those missing is pretty huge. So we really want to try and optimize this as much as possible to where it's better that we land it right than miss it and deal no damage, even if the land does less damage. Um, but yeah. Also, I just want to go over real quick early game items to look out for. Your Infernal Robe is going to be pretty good for you. It gives +1 armor class just right off the bat, right? So if you went Draconic Bloodline first, which I would highly recommend, that's going to bump you up to 14 plus your Dexterity modifier. Also, Cloak of Protection, you get this in Act 2. +1 armor class, +1 saving throws. Absolute's Protector, that's going to give you Fire Shield as well. So if you have traded out your robe for... What's that robe called that you get from Alfira? I can't remember it, but that robe would also be a fairly good pick for this build. I just do not have it in this playthrough. This is a Dark Urge playthrough. The Potent Robe. Yeah, that's what it's called. The Potent Robe. You get that from Alfira if you save the Tieflings from Moonrise Towers. So, also the Pyro Quickness hat is honestly it's pretty good, but I feel like having an extra bonus action, it does mean that you could potentially cast 3 spells in one turn, right? However, I just really don't think that's worth the damage that you're dealing to yourself because that is likely to break your concentration. We don't have Warcaster on this build. If you decided that you were going to prioritize that over having 20 Charisma and then go with the Pyro Quickness hat, it's alright to do that, but keep in mind that you're only going to have originally like 9 to 10 sorcery points. So you can only do that 3 times. You can only use the Quicken spell 3 times. So it really becomes, is it worth it to do that? In my opinion, it's really not. But you could do that. Now, the Self-Immolation Ring, for the same reason, I would suggest not using it. Because it's going to do so much damage to you that you're really threatening breaking your concentration like that. And we really want this Darkness spell to be active. But, yeah. Ring of Mental Inhibition. Now, this is not necessarily the optimized ring for this build, but I do like it. So if we examine real quick, it gives that mental fatigue debuff, and we're going to be landing a ton of spells. And I just feel like it fits the build pretty good. You wouldn't necessarily have to have this ring to make this build work. You could throw other things on here, but yeah. Ring Regeneration, I like this because it just negates the negative effects of heat completely. You're usually going to get 1 to 2 to 3 damage dealt to you. I think it's a 1d4. But yeah, this just negates that entirely. Spellcrux Amulet, that's just to regain a spell slot. You could do the amulet that you get under the Stormshore Tabernacle that gives you the +2 spell save DC. I just currently do not have that amulet. But you definitely could do that. instead of having this. Honestly, I would probably even recommend that, and I do apologize for not having that on my character currently. So, also some alternative options for our gloves. You can do the quick spell gloves. Gloves of dexterity if you wanted to dump your dexterity and put it into something else, but also have high dexterity for high initiative. But you don't necessarily need high initiative for this build. Um, Gemini gloves, they're good, but because you can only use this once. Um, actually, I'm wrong. It is good, but I feel like you're not really going to be using your fireballs a lot. So, yeah. Wondrous gloves, these are really good. You get these at the beginning of Act 3. Um, but I feel like the Spellmight gloves are going to be your best bet. Helldusk armor, obviously, you could go with that instead of your Robe of the Weave. And if you went with that, that would bump you up to a whopping 25 if it'll go on there. Oh, okay. Okay. Can I not equip it? Oh, it's because I'm in turn-based mode. I was like, what are we doing here? Oh my god. Let me exit turn-based mode. So yeah, if we ended up putting this on, it would give us 25 AC. Pretty huge. But alright. That's enough talking. Let's show you guys what this build is about. We are completely concealed in darkness, so I think what we're going to open up the fight with is this free fireball. And we actually succeeded a stealth throw, so, you know. If you win a race that had advantage on stealth throws, this would even be even more OP, because they wouldn't even know where you are. And it'll probably take them a few turns just to figure out where we even are. Yeah, see, they don't even know where we are right now. Alright, and we'll just cast another fireball since they grouped up nicely for us. We can actually upcast this as well. And that's some of them dead for us. Yep. And we're not going to use heat convergence yet. I'll get into that in a second. But if we use Quicken Spell, then we can cast this Scorching Ray to gain even more heat. So now we're up to 5 heat. Now they know where we are, but honestly they can't really do much about it. If they even try to attack me, it's probably not going to hit. See, they ended up skipping all their turns because they can't see me. Right, so we're going to go ahead and end our turn. And I also put Hellish Rebuke, that comes from our Warlock. And we're going to go ahead and kill this dude. And he's dead. That gave us another turn of heat. So now we're up to 6 heat. And, well, we just lost one, so we're at 5 heat. So what we're going to do here is we're going to build a lot of heat for us using... Yeah, we're going to hit this dude. There we go. We're up to 7 heat. And we're going to go ahead and use a Quicken Spell again to build even more. And that Steel Watcher's dead. Now, you'll notice that I'm not using my high-level spell slots yet. That is for good reason. Because when we use this Heat Convergence with a high-level spell slot, that is going to one-shot this Steel Watcher. Alright, so let's do Scorching Ray. Now we're going to activate her Heat Convergence. Now what that's going to do is add an additional fire damage for every turn of heat that you have. We currently have 6 turns of heat. So every one of these rays that we're going to cast is going to have an additional 6 damage of fire damage. So let's go ahead and cast that. Alright, it did not one-shot. But let's go ahead and look at our combat log and see how much damage we actually did. That was over 100 damage. So we got 25, 20, 20, 17, 17, 17. Which is pretty insane, guys. And we still have 7 turns. Did I not use heat convergence? Is that what happened there? That's what happened. Alright, let's try it here. He's on the low ground, so we'll actually do it on him again. So that time... So yeah, the first time we actually didn't use heat convergence. But... Yep. Here's our heat convergence. So, yeah, and that was only a level 3 there, and that did roughly 70 damage. Let's go ahead and end our turn. That one's dead. Alright. Ready to use a level 5, and we are going to use heat convergence for this. Now, we only have 3 turns of heat, but I think you guys are going to see this still, and we're actually going to, well, we'll leave spells made on. Yeah, you saw the insane damage there. That was probably the best example of the amount of damage you can actually do. Yeah, that was pretty insane. And just like that, we took out 3 Steel Watchers by ourselves, and we're basically at full health. Didn't take a single hit of damage. You know, I think you could optimize this build if you went maybe with a lightning-based spellcaster, and maybe had fodder. But honestly, I'm pretty happy with the way that build works currently. It's kind of insane how they just can't really do anything to you. Sometimes they will try to attack you, but keep in mind they're going to have disadvantage in here, and you have, on the low side, 21 AC, but if you decided to disregard that +1 to your attack rolls in favor of having this armor, you would have 25 AC. And I mean, honestly, that's pretty insane for a character that can't even wear heavy armor. For a spellcaster, 25 AC is pretty insane. And without even wearing armor pieces that boost your AC. We could even get this higher if we went for something like that. Now we have 27 AC, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now keep in mind, we don't have all the things that were giving us that insane damage. But honestly, even if you're not trying to maximize your damage like that, you could still do pretty good, even without the Spellmite gloves. Because you're going to get the heat convergence ability from Marco Hesh here. And that's really, honestly, that's really all you need to really make this build come online. But I would recommend doing the way that I originally showed you. If you really just wanted to be unhittable, that would be the way to go. But honestly, I don't know why you would prioritize being unhittable if you're in a darkness cloud, and they probably won't even try to hit you anyway. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I would prefer just to maximize my damage output. But, alright guys, that's going to be it for me today. If you like this video, if you think that I could have done anything better, let me know down in the comments. I appreciate every single person who takes the time to comment and correct anything that I said that was wrong, correct anything that I said that I could have explained a little bit better, or if there's a better way to make this build, please inform me. I want to give you guys the best information out there. I do a lot of research for these videos, but if I'm wrong, I'm not. I have the ability to admit that I'm wrong and change this build and come up with an update for it. So, all right, guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Check out my honor mode playthrough. Peace out.